Welcome to this Perceptive Readers Podcast. Hi, I'm James Lynch.
Welcome to this Telegram Perceptive Readers app moment. Hi, I'm James Lynch. I want to, on this Saturday, talk about another Sunday thought, which may be developed a little bit more even throughout the week. And what we start off on this time is Monopoly. How many of you have played Monopoly? Now, you may already be saying, what does this have to do with one of your Sunday thoughts, or maybe spiritually speaking thoughts? Well, just bear with me for the next few minutes, if not the next several days as well. Well, getting right back on Monopoly. In a very basic way, and yes, even in a competitive way, it teaches you about finances, you see, making deals and things of that nature, the pros and cons, how to decide, with a budget of what you got to do for this or that, or when you're going to put houses on your property, etc., etc. Well, it's been a very fun game for years. And a few years back, I wrote an article about even board games briefly. I may have mentioned that. But it's something because depending on the way you were raised or your family, Monopoly rules were not just stagnant. You know how they had the instructions and what the rules are. You go to, one side of town and they might do things a little bit differently. The bank may only lend you still so much money for this or that, or even when it came to the nitty gritty, the end game where all the properties were bought up and people were just hoping that they'll land on there where they can charge them exorbitant amount, of money. And then, eventually persons would go bankrupt. They would run out of money and things of that nature. All the same, there were certain rules that, different families actually adjusted and tweaked to make it more fun or more exciting to their taste. And what I find fascinating is this, like I said, when I did my research a few years back, for years on end, it seemed like the instructions for Monopoly had never changed really, just for years on end. And then all of a sudden they put almost like a caveat. They didn't call it a caveat, but when in certain sections where they were talking about the rules, they even took the moment to make like an addendum that they were not being hard and fast on certain, things, because they actually did realize different people kind of made adjustments here and there. And I just thought it was interesting that they would even make allowances towards that, to even mention that. I don't know if they still do, but it was just something that was, in my mind either way, in my research where I read it. And like I said, I thought it was from the instructions, but all the same, I may look it up, or you can look that up to see if I still got a good memory from it or not. But see, here's the point. All the same, when the families or certain persons agreed to what the rules were about, the game still was fun. It was exciting because what? Everybody still abide by, adjusted towards those new fun rules that, maybe the older person you were playing with made it up, or a parent, or what have you. And yet, like I said, it still worked out. It was still based, in principle and fairness, where it could actually apply to, again, everyone, since everyone was starting from an even, board, even ground, same amount of money and things of that nature. Now, you could say, okay, they had faith in the system of the way that, it turned out, no matter who won, because what? It was based on valid, rules, principles, and laws that still worked with the game. All right? Yes. Now, You hear me at times use the term matrix, do you not? And so, if you have read the book or even watched the movie from, uh, somewhere in the past or something, how they talked about when they went in, the people who were in Zion or what have you went back into the matrix, jacked into the computer system. You see, they could bend, certain laws and rules and things of that nature. All right. That's still just, an FYI with you. Now, today, okay, today, when you think about money and finances and things of that nature, when you think about even deals that you make with people, you have certain expectations, they have certain expectations from you and things of that nature. And when persons agree and abide by whatever those rules were or those principles were. Hey, I can even use the word the principles of what really makes a uplifting type of relationship between somebody. You see, it all works out, does it not? Because everybody's like in agreement. Then they have faith in the relationship, even, you see. What happens differently, though, from monopoly to the way that you hear me use the term the matrix and the other meanings that I've written about on the website, how it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going inside a computer system, but it still is a form of controlled environment where outside forces that have the access and authority to it can actually, like I said, put you through different tests, a lot of changes and things of that nature. Now, some people who love a challenge, they eat certain types of environments up, no matter, it seems like, what type of environment you put them in. However, one of the reasons why they enjoy is because the payoff of what they're expecting, you see, is met. So they continue to have what? The faith in the system, the faith in this type of controlled environment, the faith in the matrix, if you will. However, people become disgruntled at times, and justifiably so, when they have done their part, to the best of their ability, according to whatever the guidelines are and things of that nature. But in return, unlike the way it was set up in the family setting of monopoly, the return, whether it's finances or otherwise, or what you expect from a person to treat you even with dignity, that is, was not on the same level. It was, like I said, it was just not, it was like it was one-sided or lopsided, and this happens at times. And if that happens enough to a person, then what? They can lose faith in the system, lose faith in the matrix. Now, what solves all of that? Well, in a nutshell, you've heard me talk about the good book, Leviticus, balance scales, and things of that nature. And it's so interesting because the way that God set up and told his people that they actually had to agree to, whether you want to call it bartering, buying, selling, things of that nature. See, they realized no matter what, they were still accountable to God as well. And he made sure that he told them they better not be cheating anybody either, you see. But see, all the same, it was based on balanced scales. Now, that may not sound like much, but to let you know today, if the world system and economy was really based on balanced scales instead of quantum additions and things of that nature, you would be pleasantly surprised just how prosperous each and every human being on the face of this earth really would be. You see? But see, that's the difference. You got a way of doing business according to God's balanced scales way. And then, and remember, we're not using the Bible as a book for finances. I'm just telling you that, it covers a lot of principles. And so that's just to give you a thought about Sunday, about spiritually speaking, and even talking about finances. This was not to give financial advice. It was more to put the thought in your mind why persons become disgruntled, whether it has to do with anything. It is because maybe for an extended period of time, they really felt in their heart they were doing their part. But unlike Monopoly of old, the payoff was not always the same. Okay? So thank you for being here on this Telegram app, Perceptive Readers Moment. You have a wonderful day on Sunday and have a nice start to your week. Take care. Bye-bye.
You have just listened to the Perceptive Readers Podcast. Remember, until next time, if you read something that encourages you to improve or enhance your life for the better, it becomes your reality.